Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome here this morning. We got a full house here on a very, very important event, and so glad to see so many people here. This is a regular meeting of the Commissioners Court of Hood County, Texas, which I now call to order. Today is Tuesday, November the 12th, 2024, at 9 a.m. in the Central Jury Room of the Ralph H. Walton Jr. Justice Center at 1200 West Pearl Street in Granbury, Texas. We're very pleased and honored today to have with us, and it's only fitting that we have Pastor Mike McMahon here today, who's really the chaplain of the Commissioners Court, to say the invocation today. So do a good job here, Pastor McMahon, like you always do.
Amen. Well, the Lord is with us. How can you be wrong, right? Father, in Jesus' name, we give thanks for the United States, for our government, local as well as national. We hold up in prayer before you the men and women who are and will be in positions of authority. We pray and intercede for the President and President-elect, representatives, senators, judges, peace officers, governors, mayors, and for all those who are in authority over us in any way. We pray the Spirit of the Lord rests upon them. We believe that skillful and godly wisdom has entered into the heart of our President-elect, and knowledge is pleasant to him. Discretion watches over him. Understanding keeps him and delivers him from the way of evil, from evil men. Father, we ask that you surround every leader in this country, those who make their hearts and ears attentive to godly counsel and do that which is right in your sight. We believe you cause them to be men and women of integrity who are obedient concerning us, that we may lead a quiet and peaceful life in all godliness and honesty. We pray that the upright shall dwell in our government, that men and women blameless and complete in your sight, Father, shall remain in these positions of authority, and that the wicked shall be cut off from our government, and the treacherous shall be rooted out of it. Your word declares that blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord. We receive that blessing, Father, because you are our refuge and our stronghold in times of trouble, such as high cost, destitution, desperation. So we declare with our mouths that your people dwell safely in this land and in Hood County, and that we all prosper abundantly. We are more than conquerors through Christ Jesus. It's written in your word, Lord, that the heart of the king is in your hand, and that you turn it whichever way you desire. We believe the heart of our leaders are in your hand, and that their decisions are divinely directed of the Lord. We give thanks unto you that the good news of the gospel is published in our land. The word of the Lord prevails and grows mightily in the hearts and lives of the people. We give thanks for this land, for the leaders you have given to us, in Jesus' name. And we remember that Jesus is Lord over the United States of America. Amen.
Amen.
If you would, please join in. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now the pledge to the great state of Texas.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God,
and indivisible.
Now, this next presentation is something that is probably the highlight of my career here as being a judge. I was approached by Joyce Dorsey and her friends that cook for all the first responders and wanted me to see if I would write a letter to Congressman Williams in support of a person well-deserved to receive a Medal of Honor. And I said, my God, that's something important. As I understand it from all of his comrades, some of who are here today, this person turned down the Medal of Honor while in Vietnam, saying he didn't deserve it. I think when you have and hear what I asked Senator Birdwell, I said, I'm not capable of reading this, but our own hero, our Senator Brian Birdwell, who represents us so well, I called him and asked him, I said, Senator, would you come and read this proclamation, this official request to Congressman Williams in favor of Billy E. G. Bodecker. Everybody calls him Billy. I've never heard, Billy Eugene, but we all know him as Gene. He's right here, folks. This is a real hero. And I would like to call up Mr. Gene Bodecker and Senator, and you're going to read this to us, all right? And I'll have all the Commissioners Court come down here. So we'll take an official picture. And then I want all of his Army friends and family to come up here with the big picture. We're going to send all this to Congressman Williams, telling him that this guy deserves this.
I'll give you a couple of tokens real quickly. Appreciate it. Challenge coins, Macena coin, Pentagon coin. God bless you.
God bless you. Oh, sir.
Thank you, sir.
You're going to do us a great job.
Thank you, sir. Well, appreciate it. Thank you. It's been a while since I've been an so that's a good thing. Okay. All right.
Why don't you sit next to the Senator?
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. From the Hood County Commissioners Court, an official request to award Mr. Billy Bodecker the Medal of Honor. On behalf of Mr. Bodecker, recipient of the Distinguished Service Cross, the Hood County Commissioners Court requests Mr. Bodecker's award be elevated to the Medal of Honor. Whereas Mr. Bodecker was born and raised in Granbury of Hood County, Texas, and served in the United States Army with Company A, 1st Battalion Airborne, 503rd Infantry, 173rd Airborne Brigade. And whereas Mr. Bodecker has been recognized for his extreme gallantry and selfless bravery, risking his life in connection with military operations with an armed hostile force in the Republic of Vietnam, and whereas Mr. Bodecker's distinguished actions during the Vietnam conflict depict not only gallantry, but risk of life, but also extraordinary valor, and whereas on November 18, 1967, Private First Class Bodecker served as assistant machine gunner in an airborne infantry company, participated in a search and destroy operation on Hill 882 near Dak To, and whereas during this mission, Private Bodecker, advancing with his unit toward the crest of the hill, came under intense automatic weapons, rocket, and small arms fire from an estimated 2 companies of North Vietnamese regular Army soldiers. And whereas Private Bodecker, in an act of outstanding bravery, raced to the heaviest point of contact, set up his machine gun, and returning devastating fire upon the hostile forces, killing 6 enemy soldiers before being wounded himself. And whereas after being treated for his wounds, Private Bodecker returned to the forward position, and whereas during the ensuing action, Private Bodecker was struck 6 more times by enemy fire, and whereas Private Bodecker was then evacuated to the rear, treated, and was instructed to remain with the other seriously wounded men, upon which he courageously and without concern for personal safety returned to his position to return fire to the Vietnamese enemy, and whereas Private Bodecker was once again wounded and removed from the battlefield to a hospital, and whereas valor is defined as great courage in the face of danger, Private Bodecker's actions exemplified this quality. Now, therefore, the Hood County Commissioners Court does hereby request that our local Congressman Roger Williams be put forth to Congress this recommendation to award Mr. Billy Bodecker the Medal of Honor, signed this 12th day of November, 2024, Ron Massengale, County Judge, Commissioner Andrews, Precinct 1, Commissioner Samuelson, Precinct 2, Commissioner Wilson, Precinct 3, Commissioner Eagle, Precinct 4.
Being hard-headed runs in the Bodecker family. some of his friends say that you were instructed to stay there 4 times and went 4 times. He got voted again. But anyway, this is this is one for you and your family. It's really big, signed by everybody. How about that? But 2 of these are going to Congressman Williams. We're sending them to Luann, and we're going to make sure. And, you know, Senator Birdwell himself is a hero. You know what he went through.
Thank you again.
I didn't know the enemy I faced, you did.
God bless you.
Anyway, now I'd like for all of Gene's Army guys that were served with him to come on up here for a picture. I see a bunch of them, and then we're going to get the family. How about that? That work for you?
Out of the way to get some pictures.
Remember this guy right here? Hey.
How you doing, sir?
Yeah, you grew up with Jesus, sir. Hey, y'all get up there, surround Gene. Is he another hero? I'm sure. All right. That's force. Come on. Get in there. Yeah. Where you gonna be? Yeah. Come on. You know, I really think it was God's plan up here for Gene to get the Medal of Honor this time so that it could be hung around his neck by President Trump. How about all of Gene's family come up here? Look at all this. Boy, you had to Let's go catch me.
Have a big photo.
He deserves another medal for raising history.
He's a tall one there.
They both play baseball for Hardin Simmons.
You know, I got to say one more thing. When I gave the draft of this, he got Gene and asked him to look at it and see if there's any corrections. He said, yeah, Judge, you messed up on one of the dates here. He said it was not 1963. He said it was 67. He said in 63, Harry Easton and I were still floating here on the flat ground.
And guess who had to clean them?
That's right, yeah. So it was a family. Anyway, let's really hope we're sitting in these two. And I'm going to acknowledge Mel Birdwell gave you the right person to connect to as Senator and Congressman Roger Williams' office. He's going to get these with a nice letter, endorsement, telling them what a send off everybody in Hood County is going to do it. And we really hope that he'll present this to president to Congress, and then Congress give it, approve it, and then have the Medal of Honor of President Trump. I'm going to.
Airborne. Airborne all the way.
Hey, Jerry, how much was Ronnie Tomlinson with y'all then? No, he wasn't. Right there. Jerry, come on up here. Come on up. You know that when Jerry East married Gail, it was like a light switch coming on. He quit drinking, fighting, smoking, almost everything. Well, law enforcement officer here for about 30 years. These are two brothers right here. This is like his real blood brother here, isn't it?
I've been called Jerry about half a dozen times.
You know, for y'all that don't read the paper, I was in a movie, and I was supposed to be a hunter that discovers the hit-and-run vehicle. And after about 10 takes, I finally told the director, I said, let me go ahead and do it my way this time. So we asked Aaron Wild, who was the reporter that was interviewing me, I said, just ask me my name. And say, I'm the hunter that found the car, and ask me my name. So she says, all right, we got this hunter here that discovered this car here. So, sir, what is your name? I said, my name's Jerry East. Taking a shortcut across these pastures. In common parlance, we all know what that means. You take a shortcut across somebody's pasture, you're hunting and poaching. But everybody's been calling me Jerry ever since. Anyway, hey, you're the best. You too. Oh, hey, we're going to Washington, D.C. too. Brenda, when I first came here, I came here only on weekends on the thing. This is the guy that started the rumor. Well, you know Ron. Well, no, I don't know Ron. I'm Brenda's husband. The first 10 years around here, I was known as Brenda's husband. That was kind of an ego deflator. Anyway, you got some good friends and a great family. We're proud of you. Proud of you. Okay. Okay. Good to see y'all. You've got a great family. This is great. Thank all of y'all. Thank you. Thank you. Y'all used to be in the bird.
A lot of people don't know he was with the first guy. He spent a couple of years. So he saw the turn.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm here for almost 70 years. We were in the first tower. We were in the first grade.
God.
No, they do that.
No, you still hardly with it in the first
Yeah. This is not Russ Bogus.
Hey, nice to meet you. Y'all all go visit. Y'all go visit someplace. We'll take care of this county boarding business now. I got one, that's why I put you on first.
I started here in the first grade.
You shouldn't say that.
I never played around her either.
You, buddy.
Appreciate it.
Well, good. Y'all go visit. We'll take it. Pleasure meeting you. Okay.
I didn't listen to tell about which one. Yeah, we probably. I know what we got going next Tuesday. I was right along my tractor trying to work on a shed now. He said, can you be here at this time? I said, well, I'll check the Texas supervisor. I guess it worked out.
Yeah, it did.
I'm glad he did. Mine is too. Yours a little happier. That's very good. Harvey, they don't And I'm not we're all getting older. Yeah, I knew you would never tell that story. Absolutely. Well, you got anything on me?
So, is it Boddicker?
We call it Bodecker down here.
All right.
Where's Clint?
We're behind you here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank y'all for coming. Thank y'all for coming.
You're number one.
Good to see you. Okay, the next item on the agenda is to receive a presentation from the election administrator, known as Stephanie Cooper, regarding the elections in 2024. Ms. Stephanie Cooper.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Can you hear me? Okay. So I just wanted to come up and
Yep, it's his mic, yeah.
now. I can wait just a second. Okay, so I just wanted to give a little bit of some statistics from this election year, and specifically this November election. As we all know, was huge, and we've made it. We made it past. But a couple things that I wanted to highlight were the voter registration applications that came in on October 7th. We had 95 of them come through our DPS application online, and about 255 applications come in through either by mail or in person just that day, which was the election or the voter registration cutoff. So I know that if you've been in the hallways this past month or so, it's been packed. During early voting, we had around 185 limited ballots, which is something that my office has to handle. So we ended up having voting booths in our hallway so that people could vote these limited ballots. We sent over 1,500 mail-in ballots. And for the first time on the presidential election here in Hood County, we had 2 early voting locations. And I'm very thankful for it, because about 35% of the voters who voted early voted through our secondary Acton location. And about 65% voted at the annex, which is the normal location. And we had a tremendous early voting turnout this time, with nearly 29,000 people coming in to vote early in person. On election day, we had the 10 locations like normal, and about 130 voting machines that had to get out to the polling locations, over 100 workers, and about 6,300 voters on election day. That was lower than what I anticipated, but most everyone came out on election or early voting. And our overall turnout was close to 72%. which was good for a bigger election. But really, to make all of this possible, I wanted to give a public thanks to the 2 team members that I have that put everything together for me. They have really been the glue of the department. And if you could come up here, Steve and Tana. So I've made a certificate and I've gotten them a little, switch sides. To give my thanks for being the glue of the department and really just having a great attitude, showing up every day, countless hours. This last pay period, Tana had 96 hours and Steve had 125, which is significant for 2 weeks. And that's not even including election day. So just wanted to give you guys my thanks and recognize you publicly for everything that you've done.
And I can certainly attest to that. When I would stop in and see and talk to Stephanie and see how well it was going, I see Greg Harrell's back there shaking his head affirmatively. Really and truly, she was really very, very complimentary of both of you. Y'all did a wonderful job for her, and I love seeing that great teamwork y'all got there together. So thank you very much, and thank you very much on behalf of all the citizens of Hood County. You too included.
Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you all. Keep up the good work. All right. All right, the next item is announce the Hood County Employee Holiday Luncheon scheduled for Thursday, November the 21st, 2024, from 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. All prizes for the event will be donated this year, so nobody have to pay any taxes. Stephanie Matlock, of course, said that if we give them prizes, we have to pay taxes on them, except if it said $100 bills donated. So that's what we're going to do by commissioners and stuff here. And it's going to be at the Triple Cross Cowboy Church again, isn't? That's where it has been the last couple of years. So that's what we'll do. So then the fourth thing is they present a proclamation declaring November National American Indian Heritage Month. And we have Miss Margaret Cook down here to do that for us. Let me see. Yeah. Y'all want to sign that? If you want to get something done around here, Margaret Cook is somebody that you can always give it to, and she'll get it done. Won't you read it?
Amen.
Okay, well, they're signing this proclamation here for y'all. Tell us about it. Speak to that, Luke.
Rita Rice is here with me. DAR has sponsored and supported the American Indian for many, many years. We have 2 Indian schools that we support. One is in Muskogee, Oklahoma, the other is in Salem, Oregon. We have supported that are historic and cultural in everything that they do. We have scholarships for the American Indians, and we also have grant programs that are for Indian projects. And so it's been a very, over the years, we have continued to support them.
Yeah, I think we have a proclamation. We're going to Okay. You want to, Rita, you want to say a few words? You're fine?
I've enjoyed being there.
Okay. Well, you're doing a good job.
I've been in our meeting and tell about something about the American Indians. And I'm looking forward to the next section because just looking at the notes that the AR suggests, it's all going to be about how the Indians helped during the Revolutionary War. whereas the history and culture of our great nation have been significantly influenced by American Indians and indigenous people, and whereas the contribution of American Indians have enhanced the freedom, prosperity, and greatness of America today, and whereas their customs and traditions are respected and celebrated as part of a rich legacy throughout the United States. And whereas Native American Awareness Week began in 1976 and recognition was expanded by Congress and approved by President George Bush in August 1990, designating the month of November as National American Indian Heritage Month. And whereas in honor of National American Indian Heritage Month, community celebrations, as well as numerous cultural, artistic, educational, and historic activities have been planned. Now, therefore, the Hood County Commissioners Court does hereby proclaim November as National American Indian Heritage Month in Hood County and urges all of our citizens to observe this month with appropriate programs, ceremonies, and activities. Signed the 12th day of November, 2024, Ron Massengale, County Judge, and our commissioners. Thank you very much.
Y'all keep that. That's y'all's team, okay? That's good. All right. How about that? All right. Thank you. Good to see you again, all right? Thank you. Look at it. Look at Margaret. She's got more medals on her than Margaret. Yeah.
She's got a lot. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank y'all for doing this. Thank you for doing it. All right. Okay. No service awards, right? No service, okay. So now we're at that section of the program that's called the Citizens Comment at Large, or open mic. We have 3 speakers today, and the first speaker is Sandy Stoltz. Welcome.
Okay, commissioners, I'm here today to address you on my observation of the meetings among yourselves. I've been attending these meetings now for a couple of years, and I've seen the demeanor of all of you. But after the last meeting, I could not sit back any longer. The behavior I saw among a few of you, and I won't mention names or point fingers because you know who you are. I was and am appalled at the disrespect toward the authority of the judge. The actions of certain sitting commissioners disregarding the rules of a meeting was disgusting. I have heard many times by one of the commissioners about the decorum of the meetings, of the constitutionality of what was said, and the perceptions of what is or is not correct. There is a decorum and rules and regulations of how a meeting is supposed to be held. There is a pecking order of when one should be able to talk. Last meeting, people were in front of you at the open mic where the commissioners were not to speak. As an elected official, there are times when people will say things that may be offensive and perhaps even hurtful. That is the time when you put your big pants on and show the proper behavior for that moment. That was not done last meeting. Personally, I would be embarrassed for people to watch that behavior, and my request to you is to understand your position a little bit more and show respect to the judge when he is enforcing your own rules.
Thank you.
Amen.
Next speaker is Greg Harrell.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Thank you for allowing me to speak this morning. I want to preface my comments by saying that Stephanie and her team, the elections administrator, withdrew after her presentation with a lot of volunteers. They're headed over to the annex to continue to do a recount over there, a recount that is mandated by the Secretary of State's office. And I just want to recognize not only them, but even the volunteers that are working so steadfastly over there to make sure that our republic is protected and our voices are heard. They did a wonderful job, so I just want to underscore that. I've stood before you as an assembly on a number of occasions here recently when you took up financial issues and concerns. And one of the things that I asked you and I put forth to you when I addressed those issues was that let's put some of this stuff off until we can get President Trump in office. And thankfully, I'm proud to say, as the Hood County Republican Party chairman, that last Tuesday, the United States of America did exactly that in a big way. 312 electoral votes at the last count, one of which is our own County Commissioner, Nanette Samuelson, who will be traveling to Austin to cast one of those 312 votes for the next President of the United States, Donald J. Trump. So happy to deliver that news to you. I want to speak specifically on a little bit in regards to the results of this election and perhaps put some context on the election down into the level of Hood County, just so that you're aware of how not only the state of Texas performed, but also how Hood County performed in regards to this general election. Number one, Texas, the state, saw a huge shift to the red between the last two election cycles and this latest election cycle. We went from about 52% of the vote going Republican to this last election cycle, about 56% of the vote. So those that were hoping to shift Texas into a purple category were soundly defeated. Amen. Here in Hood County, we saw, and Stephanie kind of minimized this, but I wanted to talk to it. We as a party had a huge get out the vote effort here in Hood County. We literally had hundreds of volunteers knocking doors, trying to get people out to vote. That resulted in a Hood County election turnout, as Stephanie said, in excess of 70%. Now, let me put that in context for you. There are 50 counties in the state of Texas with in excess of 50,000 registered voters. 50 counties with over 50,000 registered voters. Hood County finished in the top 4 of those counties in terms of voter turnout in this last election cycle. That's something to be very proud of. In addition to Hood County turning out the vote, we were one of 4 counties that exceeded that 70% voter turnout. So we did quite well in regards to that. But from my perspective, and maybe more importantly to all of us as Republicans, we exceeded the statewide Republican voter turnout by, the Republican results by about 25% across the board. In other words, when Texas delivered statewide 56% of its votes for Donald J. Trump, we in Hood County delivered over 82% of our vote for Donald J. Trump. Likewise, across the board, we exceeded the statewide results for Ted Cruz by about 25%, all the way down the ballot. What this tells us is that Hood County is indeed a Republican stronghold. We are a Republican county. The county Republicans are energized, and I'm just pleased to give each of you this good Republican report. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, good. Our final speaker is Steve Biggers.
Good morning, Board. Thank you so much. I want to prime the pump on an item that Commissioner Sanderson's put on their agenda, I think it's agenda item 15. I appreciate that so much. You know, you guys have rules that you have to go by. Everybody signs off on them October 2023. And I want to talk about what happened certainly last week with the elections, and Chairman Harrell's very correct. It was a landslide for us. It was very good. But the people also stepped up and said, hey, no more tax, no more bonds. We're weary. We're weary of politicians coming after us all the time for our money, for our vote, and then not listening to us. So 2 weeks ago, we had a citizen come up here, and in my opinion, violate the rules of decorum like crazy. They're very clear. One, in 4C, the commissioners and the court can't speak back to them. So I think Commissioner Eagle was a little bit out of line. Even though he was commenting about the rules. Two, I believe that citizen was way out of line with 4F, with insinuating that Mr. Eagle's a liar and he's bullying and basically threatening him if he runs for judge, that they were threatening him. So I have a little bit of an issue with that, with the fact that they're very, very clear, and Commissioner Eagle can really go anywhere he wants to in his precinct. He was being accused of coming by in the citizen's house and taking pictures. Well, Lord knows, Commissioner Eagle had a whole lot of pictures taken of his property. And two, it's in his precinct. And that citizen happened to have a whole bunch of gaudy decorations in his yard. Maybe he was just looking at those. But then that citizen comes back and follows Commissioner Eagle and stalks him to a grocery store. Who's at fault here? Who's really at fault? So it should have been shut down. It should have been shut down really early on. Two of the commissioners tried to do that, and I appreciate that because the rules are very clear about it. But I want to remind people what happened not only last week and 2 weeks, but 2 years ago. And here we go, because there was a certain violation of the rules.
a member of this court or me. That is it. So please, Mr. Baker, it's not on you to
23 seconds. 23 seconds I spoke. And I said nothing derogatory, nothing insinuating, compared to 2 weeks ago with the citizens that directing towards Mr. Eagle. Now, I have more to say about this because the rules were really in effect and everything was going really good until the 8th day when it comes out. Now, I'm going to come back at 15 and I've got some solutions, I think, that we can get past this and maybe stop it. Thanks.
Okay. Now, that concludes our agenda, and we're now into miscellaneous business. Item number 1, discuss and take appropriate action to adopt the adjusted clerical supervisory and animal control sergeant positions of the general salary matrix and place employees so titled correctly on the matrix.
Yeah, Judge, this is just, this was a huge undertaking to get this matrix set and everybody placed on it correctly. And this was my mistake. I had missed on a couple of things there. And this is just to go in and correct the matrix and get everybody placed on there where they needed to be. So I gave you a sheet this morning that had all the corrections on there. There was one that didn't make it onto the backup for the court, so everything's on there now. Yeah, with that, I'll make a motion to adopt the clerical supervisor and animal control sergeant positions to the general salary matrix and place employees so titled correctly on the matrix.
Second.
A motion been made by Commissioner Andrews to adopt the adjusted clerical supervisory and animal control sergeant portions of the general salary matrix and place employees so titled correctly on that matrix. Second by Commissioner Samuelson. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion carries unanimously 5-0. The Tyler has been pulled, item number 2. So item number 3, discuss and take appropriate action to authorize a county judge to sign the resolution approving the county grant program year 2025 for the Texas Department of Agriculture, Texans Feeding Texans, home delivered meal grant program for the Hood County senior citizens. This is something that we do each and every year, and I think it's something very good for Hood County. I make a motion that we authorize the county judge to sign the resolution approving the grant program for Texas Feeding Texans.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Wilson. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries unanimously. Item number 4, consider and take appropriate action to approve resolution of support for county motor fuel tax exemption. This resolution requests the legislature exempt counties from paying state taxes on fuel used in county vehicles.
Yeah, Judge, I went to it was a Tex 21 meeting, and the Cass County Judge Ransom brought this up, and he's kind of pushing this forward. Counties pay tax on the fuel that they use. Several entities do not. Schools do not pay tax on fuel. Volunteer fire departments don't pay tax on fuel. And and there's a little bit of a return that comes back from the state, a refund, but it's not based on how many gallons you use or anything like that. And a lot of times, Judge Ransom used the word tax churn, or the phrase tax churn. And I thought, boy, is that not appropriate, where you get in there and it's just muckies up and some of the money gets lost down there in Austin and gets returned back to us. This is a much cleaner thing, just to say that let's not pay tax, charge taxes to our taxpayers, to pay that tax to send down to Austin for them to tax churn and then send a little bit back to us. So that's what this resolution in a nutshell is asking for.
Do I hear a motion?
Yeah, Judge, I'll make a motion that we adopt the resolution of support for county motor fuel tax exemption.
Second.
Made by Commissioner Andrews to approve the resolution of support for the county motor fuel tax exemption, second by Commissioner Eagle. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries unanimously 5-0. Item number 5, discuss and consider for approval the use of the north side of the parking lot of the historical courthouse as Visit Granbury hosts live coverage of the WFAA Channel 8 Daybreak TV show featuring tourism this holiday season in Granbury on Friday, November the 22nd, 2024, from 5 a.m. to 10 a.m. Ms. Dooley, do you going to do this? This has got Tammy Dooley all over it, doesn't it? Anything that brings tourism and population to everything we can thank Tammy Dooley for this. Do a great job.
Thank
Tell
you,
us about
Judge.
this.
Thank you, Commissioners. Thanks for letting me be here. This is a wonderful opportunity, and I can say this is probably the earliest opportunity. We will be going live at 6 a.m. I joked to everybody that I will be sleeping in my makeup and trying to get there at 4 a.m. I don't know how to do that, but we're really excited. It's a great opportunity to showcase all of Hood County, especially the square. So we have asked HGMA to have all the stores open, and restaurants will be open that early. You can have coffee and all of that morning. And then also we will have the Triple Cross Cowboy Church will be serving free breakfast burritos to like the first 300 people, just as a token of goodwill, which I think is so amazing. And one of their causes is a blanket drive. So we ask everyone, you don't have to bring a blanket, but if you would like to please do that. You might be familiar with our Rise and Grind event that is held every Friday morning. They actually, all of us will be on the square early. So Rise and Grind, instead of being 9 a.m., will be on the square at 5 a.m. So let's see. Also, the Historic Presbyterian Church will be ringing the church bells throughout the day. I think that's lovely. And then a lot of the GISD groups, like the Stowaways, will be there as well. Santa and Mrs. Claus will be in attendance, of course, and we will also have the carriage rides. So it will be a full kickoff to our holiday season and the impact of that on our local economy. And I think that is it. You do not have to do anything in particular, just attend and show support. They will be cutting live on air from 6 to 8, and asking us all, so tell us about Granbury, Texas. So we'll have a lot of media attention in a positive way. This is the kind of press you can't buy. So a lot of earned media, and we would love for your support. We'd love for you to be there and allow us to use the north side of the square.
She do such a great job, doesn't she? That's why we're the Granbury most historic city 3 times in a row because of Tammy Dooley's efforts. So this is a very worthwhile. This is very, very good.
Thank you, Judge. And I might just add, last year we were designated the official celebration capital of Texas because people come here to celebrate, and Senator Birdwell was here, and Shelby Slauson, and everyone who made that happen. It was a really great effort, and now it's official.
Isn't that great? That's, again, is due to Tammy Dooley working with everybody. Let's give her a hand.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, I make a motion that we approve the use of the north side of the parking lot of the historical courthouse as Visit Granbury hosts the live coverage of WFAA Channel 8 Daybreak TV show featuring tourism this holiday season in Granbury on Friday, November the 22nd, 2024, from 5 a.m. to 10 a.m.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Samuelson. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Passes unanimously. So go get them, Tammy. We look forward to that. Motion passes unanimously. Okay. All right, item number 6, review, approve, and sign the agreement with Fiddler Technologies to institute property fraud alert software for the county clerk's office. This is a service that will be provided to Hood County property owners at no additional cost to property owners. The initial cost of the service agreement is $9,000 with annual ongoing maintenance at $2,500 per year, fixed for the first 3 years. The first year cost will be $9,000 plus $2,500 for a total of $11,500. Years 2 and 3 will be $2,500 per year. This is a permissible expense to be paid from the County Clerk Archive Fund Contract Services account. Christine, Leftwich, our, we elected county clerk. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Judge.
Okay.
Thank you, Judge and Commissioners. This was on our last agenda, but there had been some concerns over the contract. Our county attorney wanted to do some additional review. And so there was a cybersecurity addendum that was sent to FEDLAR, and they signed it, and so it has been appended to the contract. I think we all know that title fraud, things like that is a serious crime. It's happening. We have lots of companies out there. I'm sure you've heard of Home Title Lock and LifeLock, things like that. In our own county, we have experienced fraud. I worked with investigator Michael Harris about a month and a half ago on a lien that had been fraudulently filed, and we were successfully able to get that removed so that encumbrance was no longer on that property. On a weekly basis, we have people come into the clerk's office, the annex, to look at their records. They're getting solicitations in the mail asking them to pay $125 or more to have their property researched, things like that. They're being told that they have liens on their property. So we get a lot of inquiries weekly of people coming in, and of course we look those up. We let them know that there is nothing on there. We get calls. Last week, Norton had a glitch, which resulted in us receiving over 30 calls last week of people who had received alerts for property fraud for properties in Hood County. This was from a lot of out-of-state people. I did reach out to our IT department, who was able to confirm that this was in fact an issue with Norton Title Lock. So it's definitely something that it's on the mind of citizens. It's something, as the county clerk, that has been on my mind. Just in being out in the forums, in this election cycle, it was something that I was frequently approached about. What can you do? Is this something that you can do about this? So the Archive Fund is a fund that was amassed through an extra $5 on filings that was done over a number of years under my predecessor. The Archive Fund has very specific guidelines on what that money can be spent for. Because this has to do with records management and records and titles and things like that, this is a specific expense that is permissible under the Archive Fund. So I realize that it is the county. This money has been collected from taxpayers, and so I view this as a way to give back to the taxpayers as a service that they've been asking about. What we will be doing is every week there will be what we do through a Dropbox link. That data is going to be provided to FEDLAR. FEDLAR's been in business for about 100 years. The data that we're giving to FEDLAR is the same data that is shared with title companies here locally. So every Monday I provide the title companies with all the public data transactions that have taken place throughout the week. It also goes to HCAD to ensure that their records are up to date with what the county has as far as ownership. We do not have cybersecurity agreements with any of the title companies or HCAD. So, but the county attorney drafted the cybersecurity agreement. FEDLAR had no problem signing it to ensure that there are some protections in place. The contractor, FEDLAR, is a TIPS contractor. I guess I'll let Glenn kind of explain what that's about.
Yes, this contract is on a TIPS cooperative contract, so it's been competitively bid, and it meets all the competitive requirements. So it's satisfactory in that manner.
Okay. So I'm just asking the court to approve this contract with FEDLAR so that we can provide this service to the citizens of Hood County. It will require that the citizens sign up for the service. There'll be a link on the county clerk webpage that will take them to another webpage where they can enter their information. As part of the $2,500 per year, FEDLAR will provide customer support not only to Hood County, but if a citizen receives an alert, they can call the number, the customer service number at FEDLAR, who will explain to them what the transaction is, what they're seeing, and at that time, obviously if it's something the person is familiar with, oh yeah, I did file this, or that was, whatever, they'll be able to explain it to the citizen. So that support agreement is not only for Hood County, but also for the people who sign up for it.
Okay.
So.
Good deal. Thank you very much. Do I hear a motion?
Yes, I move that we approve and authorize the signing of the agreement with FIDLAR Technologies to institute property fraud alert software for the county clerk's office. This is a service that will be provided to the Hood County property owners at no additional cost to property owners. The initial cost of the service agreement is $9,000 with an annual ongoing maintenance of $2,500 per year fixed for the first 3 years. The first year cost will be $9,000 plus the $2,500 for a total of $11,500. Years 2 and 3 will be $2,500 per year. And this is a permissible expense to be paid from the county clerk's archive fund contract account.
Do I hear a second?
Yeah, I'll second that.
Motion been made by Commissioner Wilson to approve and sign the agreement with FIDLAR Technologies to institute the property fraud tax alert software at the county clerk's office as stated. Second by Commissioner Andrews. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Yes, Judge, I do have a couple of comments. I've talked to the county clerk and the county attorney about this. I agree that home title fraud is a massive issue across the country, and there are resources out there for individuals to use. As you mentioned, there's other vendors, Home Title Lock, Norton, LifeLock. The issue I have with this is that I don't believe the government should be going into business with a private company to provide this service. It feels to me like we're picking a winner. There's other services out there that do this. FIDLAR, if you look into their background, they started out as a software company providing all kinds of services, similar to like what Tyler does for us. They're out of Iowa, I think. But they provided this similar type of county and municipal software, so they already have an ability to do this work with getting data from other counties. So it feels to me like they're using their convenient way to get data from other counties to create a customer base. They'll have automatically, if this happens or other counties do this, a customer base of up to 70,000 customers, which gives them a huge advantage over other software vendors, Home Title Lock, other companies that do this same work. So I agree that there's a issue, but I think that education, if we wanted to have our county clerk do some type of education to educate people on the services that are available and even look at providing some kind of voucher to allow them to sign up for whatever company they wanted to sign up for, that's a different road. I also looked at the cybersecurity amendment, and while it does add some protection, the real protection is for FIDLAR. I mean, if you look at the last statement on the cybersecurity, it says Hood County shall hold FIDLAR harmless from all claims, liabilities, damages, including Hood County's costs, payments, and attorney's fees, which arise as a result of cybersecurity breach or threats that is not a result of FIDLAR's negligence or willful misconduct. So beyond having to prove that they were negligent or had willful misconduct, we would not really be able to hold FIDLAR liable, and that I'm not sure that we have that same level of protection. There's a list of things that the software vendor is supposed to do, but how would you prove that they did all those things without hiring a forensic audit firm, IT audit firm, to be able to check to see if they did this? So that's all I have to say.
Any further discussion?
Yeah, I got a couple of things, and I appreciate all the work the county clerk has done on this, and but I tend to agree with Commissioner Samuelson on several points on this, and I have discussed this with some local businesses, and the one part is that it's optional for a person to use it or sign up for it is one issue, which is fine. It appears to be, you know, you're giving them the choice, but the feeding, automatically feeding all the data to them is different. And so I still have reservations about this one as well, and nothing against the county clerk on this. I know that she has worked hard on this particular issue, but I'm not sure this is the correct route to go either.
You know, let me pitch in on this because I'm on the opposite end of this. All of this is public information. The other services provide some insurance and some stuff that comes along with that, and this is just a notification. I see this very similar as what we do with Everbridge, where you come in and put your information in there. If something comes across, if something's affecting your deed, then you get notified that there's something there. Again, there's not any insurance or any protection. I'm assuming that Fiedler doesn't come out and resolve anything with this. This is just a notification that says this has happened, heads up. And so I don't really see it much as a direct competition for Title Lock or LifeLock or any of these other groups. So that's my 2 cents on the deal.
Any further discussion?
I didn't know, Alan, can you maybe elaborate on the cybersecurity clause, or if
Yeah, looking at the contract, the real issue was protecting our citizens from breach of misuse of their personal information as they sign up as subscribers. And so that's the intent of this cybersecurity clause. And unless you mention, particularly mention negligence and willful misconduct, then they, as them being liable, they could be excused from that. And so I had that subscribed in the clause itself. We're providing information for them that's already public information, so I didn't see the need to provide protection regarding our protection because that information is already public. And our IT people have provided security for that information, so I didn't see it necessary. But if the commissioners feel that it's necessary to provide a similar clause at the end of this addendum, then I'd be glad to include that as well.
Now, I'm with you. I think this is all public information. This is just an alert that something hit, that something's affected your title or deed or whatever.
Right, but our citizens are providing, as subscribers, they're providing personal information that we need to have protected. So that's why that's really the effort of this addendum.
Okay, could you say it again? I missed that.
Our citizens are providing personal information that needs to be protected, and so that's the purpose of this addendum.
Okay.
What personal information is being provided?
So the citizens would they would sign up with their name, and they would have their property address and things like that. When they sign up for their name, if their name is John Smith, they may want to, go in and put J. Smith, because it kind of operates like a Boolean search where it will capture all of those occurrences, and then it will be, verified against the legal description and things like that. And then if it were to be this person's property, they are going to receive an alert. And then they can call Fiedler and say, well, I got this alert, and then they would look at that and say, oh, okay, well, here's what it is. My feeling is, again, this is the same stuff that goes out to title companies locally. We provide this same information to title companies. We provide it to HCAD. We don't have any agreements with them to protect the data. So, Fiedler has agreed to this addendum that we've added. I feel pretty strongly about this as far as, being able to give the citizens a heads up on something that's been filed against their property. Sometimes a person may not learn about an encumbrance until they have a contract on their home. And then they go to try to sell it, and this comes up. It could impact their closing date. It could impact the contract and that sale not go through. Whether you're buying or selling a home, it's a very stressful time, and of course, the last thing you want is to see something come up that you've got an issue with your title that you didn't know about, and then have it come to find out that in the end, this was actually a fraudulent transaction, and then you're spent trying to figure out how to get yourself out of that. The alert would be, because we'd be providing this information on a weekly basis like we do to these title companies and things, it would be immediate. It would be something that person could then jump on it at that time and not have a delay where, they're trying to go back and try to figure out, what happened here. So.
Yeah, and I agree with all that it is a problem and that people are under attack by all kinds of frauds. This is one of them, but I still, this is giving a private company a leg up, and are they going to try to upsell? Now they have a list of all the people in Hood County. Are they going to try to upsell them with other products that they have? And it just seems, again, that we're choosing this company, and they have now a base of 68,000 to 70,000 customers that they can try to sell other products to, when if we did education to help citizens understand the different options that they have, that's just another option. That's where I am.
Okay. Any further discussion? Do I hear a motion?
Motion's already been made and seconded.
All right. With that, I call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay.
Nay.
Okay. Passes 3-2. All right, item number 7, we'll wait till the end of the agenda. Item number 8, discuss and take appropriate action to authorize the request for expenditure to purchase 3 transport trucks and 6 patrol Tahoes to include the necessary equipment, including K9 inserts, Axon cameras, graphics, radars, Harris car radios, DL readers, and printers. Vehicles and equipment total expenditure costs of $842,120.97. Sheriff Deeds.
Morning. The cost that was up in that, we redid a lot of the quotes, and it's actually coming up to $853,212.54. The main reason I wanted to put this back on the agenda, this is what we brought up, and that was the same cost for everything back in the summer when we were doing the budget hearings. And if we don't order stuff, it's still way slow on getting orders filled for everything. I don't understand, after this many years after COVID, it's still that slow, but it is. So if we don't order these, it might be that we have to wait till next year, and then we're going to have to wait. We probably won't get anything till 2027 sometime if we order them then. So that's why I wanted to bring it back up now, to get them on order, so it's not like we have to come up with that money tomorrow. It'll just put things on order.
53 what?
$853,212.54 is with the new quotes. That was the numbers with the quotes from last summer, basically. Denise had been on vacation, and so I didn't get those updated.
I just had a question for the auditor. On the capital sheet, that we don't have a 2024-25 capital report yet, do we? That shows
What's been prior approved?
or, well, the one that was sent out doesn't, I'm not sure it matches this report. Does it have, because it shows the,
It shows what's already been approved. I think these are additional requests.
Okay, it says this has budget remaining $569,000, which it doesn't reflect our 2024-25 capital budget, I guess, to lack of a better word. What's in Fund 55?
We haven't transferred any additional funds into Fund 55, so that's
Okay.
what was ongoing, previously approved in prior quarters.
Okay, so in Fund 55, currently it says 4.4 million, so how much of that is available for the budget year we're in?
So the miscellaneous has not been allocated, and then anything that was budgeted to be transferred in for this new year has not happened yet.
Okay.
You have those funds to allocate as you wish as a court, in addition to that miscellaneous yellow line that has not currently been allocated.
We have one speaker, Mr. Harris.
I think most of you know me. Yeah, I wanted to talk about this one. I will say that my biggest concern was this a new item that wasn't budgeted for? Okay, now, assuming that it was a budget item and this is an update, then fine, it was planned for. I was really against it if it was going to be an ad hoc, hey, now we just need all of these. So that was my only thing I was going to say about this one. I hope I can say 2 comments about the tax notification. And actually, I have no problem with that. I really liked it in the 2 properties in Texas and another state that I had, because most of the time they were false positives. It was a name similar to mine. I was still happy to look. And no, it doesn't cover things like title lock or that kind of stuff. That's something I would get on my own. But I did appreciate that. It seemed like a reasonable cost. And I spent a lot of time looking through property data, comparing things, and I can extract all of the customer information I want without the contract. So I'm happy with the approval of that one, just for the record.
Any further discussion? If not, do I hear a motion?
I'm still not clear on the Fund 55 that's in our current budget. It's 4.4 million. So what is the amount that's already allocated for prior year spend, and what is the amount that's available for these type of requests that we have talked about during budget, but we're now at the point where we're allocating the funds?
Okay, so 1.2 has already been allocated.
Okay.
So the new dollars that you have to spend in this fiscal year is 3.1.
Okay. Thank you. Sorry, Commissioner Wilson, go ahead.
Yes. Did you make a second?
I don't think, did you finish your?
Finish your motion.
No, I didn't
Go
get to
ahead.
finish my motion.
Go ahead.
Okay.
I move that we authorize the request for expenditure for the purchase of 3 transport trucks, 6 patrol Tahoes, to include necessary equipment, including K9 insert, Axion cameras, graphics, radars, Harris car radios, DL readers, and printers, vehicles and equipment. Total expenditure with the new update of $853,212.54.
Second.
By Commissioner Wilson to approve the action to the request for expenditures to purchase the 3 transport trucks and the 6 patrol Tahoes with all the necessary equipment. Second by Commissioner Samuelson. All those in favor, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion carries unanimously 5-0.
Is that mic on?
Next item.
It is now, yes. Thank you very much.
Okay, Discuss and take appropriate action for Bulletproof Vest Partnership for 15 of the vests to be replaced during the cycle. Eligible amount would be approximately $15,100, and amount they would award would be $7,456.64. Sheriff Deeds.
Judge, Commissioners, this is the same Bulletproof Vest Partnership grant that's been out there for at least 25 years, I think maybe even more than that. It's a federal grant where we have to get it approved in court for how many we're going to get or ask for, and then once we order those and we pay for them, and then we submit the invoices back into the system, and they reimburse 50%. So that's where it is, $15,100 for the total cost. And we'd get back $7,456.64. So these, we do this every year. Every year I've come to the court to get these approved so we can move forward on that for new people, replacement vests that we haven't already purchased.
Okay.
So if you have any other questions or...
Yeah, any discussion? If not, do I hear a motion?
I move that we approve the authorization for the Bulletproof Vest Partnership for 15 vests to be replaced during the cycle. Eligible amount would be approximately $15,100, and amount paid they would award back would be $7,456.64.
Second.
Motion made by Wilson to approve the Bulletproof Vest Partnership. Second by Commissioner Andrews. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries unanimously, Sheriff. How about that?
Thank you.
In the winter down here. Well, hold it, you got, what is this, that one more? Yeah, it is. All right, item number 10, discuss and take appropriate action to authorize the request for expenditure to purchase one dispatch console at the cost of $35,000 from Russ Bassett Company. Sheriff Deeds.
This Russ Bassett Company, that's the company, the same company that we bought the other ones through. Got them in, they work out, they're fantastic. It's really, they did a great job when they put those together, and this is a request to get one more, and then we'd need to do the remodeling to take out the bathroom. They've agreed to go down the hall to the bathroom and that closet that's there and make it into one spot for another console. So that'd be like a phone call overflow position, and it'd be the same as the other ones. The cost not to exceed $35,000 from that Russ Bassett Company.
Okay, good. Any discussion? If not, do I hear a motion?
Yes, I move that we authorize the request for expenditure to purchase one dispatch console at the cost of not to exceed $35,000 from Russ Bassett Company. And as okay, thank you for the second. As of yesterday, when we took lunch to the dispatchers that were working there, I actually got to see the remodeling job that was done in the dispatch center, and it is an awesome upgrade compared to what it was and what they were working with prior to the upgrade. So, you know, if anybody, you know, questions this, they need to see what those people are having to work with now. Thank you.
Perfect. All right, motion been made by Commissioner Wilson to take appropriate action to authorize a request for expenditure to purchase one dispatch console at the cost not to exceed $35,000 from West Bassett Company, second by Commissioner Eagle. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries unanimously 5-0. Thank you, Sheriff.
And I guess I should have brought up, then that money would come out of capital to Fund 55.
Fund 55? It is. She's
Like
shaking her
Thank
head.
you.
Yes. So
I'm sorry, I should have
that's to
said
be
that
paid
to
from
start
Fund
with.
55.
Yeah, the remodel looks awesome. It's like night and day in there now. It's wonderful. It looks great. And it was done.
Perfect.
and
They deserve
and
it.
It was done pretty quickly, too, so thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sheriff. Okay, item number 11, consider and take appropriate action to consider a 90-day burn ban for Hood County. Why isn't it not raining out there when we make that? That's because you're here
I don't know.
instead of Jeff?
I guess.
Yeah, where's Jeff? Okay.
He's in Missouri hunting.
Okay. What's the index for today?
Index today is 522, which has probably come down a little bit just from the moisture we've had the last few days. We didn't get a lot of rain, but our fire calls right now are still holding, and we're not making a ton of grass fires. There's not a lot of unexplained fires. So right now, we recommend we'll just wait and see. If we need to, we can always initiate a 7-day burn ban next week and carry over to the next court. So.
Okay, well, usually when we do that, it'll come with good rains.
It may get a good
I
rain,
think it's
so.
rain scheduled for Monday, so let's go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
Hope it comes a deluge so we can get out of it.
We don't have to
Do I hear
worry
a
about it.
motion?
Recommending to do the burn ban or to?
Not to do the burn ban.
Not to do the burn ban?
Not this time.
I'll move we table it.
Second.
Okay. Motion to table, item number 11, made by Commissioner Andrews, second by Commissioner Eagle. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries unanimously. We'll table it. Okay. Item number 12, discuss and consider for approval allowing McLaren Automotive to reserve parking places on the south side of the historic courthouse to display approximately 16 vehicles on Friday, November the 15th, from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. as members of McLaren America's HQ team explore Granbury. The reserved parking does not interfere with any flow of traffic in the parking lot. The City of Granbury will set up cones and reservation signs prior to 7:30 a.m. This would be a really good thing. I mean, McLaren is #1 in Formula One racing right now, and to have 16 McLarens around there, those vehicles cost about $500,000 a piece. I think it's good publicity again for City of Granbury. Greg Harrell has 2 of these in his garage, so if y'all need any contributions, y'all can ask him for money. Sell one and donate the money to the county. Do I hear a motion?
Yes, I move that we approve allowing McLaren Automotive to reserve parking spaces on the south side of the historical courthouse to display approximately 16 vehicles on Friday, November the 15th, 2024, from 1:30 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. as members of McLaren America's HQ team explore Granbury. The reserved parking does not interfere with any flow of traffic in the parking lot. The City of Granbury will set up cones and reservation signs before 7:30 a.m.
Second.
Okay. Motion made by Commissioner Wilson to allow McLaren Automotive to reserve parking places on the south side of the historical courthouse from 1:30 to 3:30 on November the 15th. Second by Commissioner Samuelson. I mean, well, they both said it at the same time.
Right.
Anyway, second by both of them, but see which one comes in first on the tape then. But anyway, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries unanimously 5-0. Item number 13, discuss and consider for approval a proposal from A Chime in Time to provide quarterly inspections of the clock tower at the historic courthouse at no cost to the county. Proposed costs for repairs will be submitted on a case-by-case basis. Mr. Leland, how are you doing, buddy?
All right. Well, I asked you to put this back on the agenda. We've had a few changes since the last time I was here. Craig, the owner of A Chime in Time, has gone out on his own whim and purchased the insurance he needs to work on the clock. And I worked with the county attorneys, Melissa, and purchasing to make sure that insurance is good. And we've also come up with an agreement that explains what he'll be doing for the county at no cost.
Great.
Thank you, Leland. I'll
Great
make a
job.
motion to approve the proposal from A Chime in Time to provide quarterly inspections of the clock tower at the historical courthouse at no cost to the county. Proposed cost for repairs will be submitted on a case-by-case basis.
Second.
Okay, a motion been made by Commissioner Samuelson to approve the proposal for A Chime in Time for the quarterly inspection, second by Commissioner Wilson. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries unanimously. Good job. Thank you, sir. Okay, item number 14, discuss and take appropriate action regarding resolution to limit government power to the U.S. and Texas constitutions. Commissioner Eagle.
Okay, so yesterday was the first day in the legislature where bills can be, where they can start filing bills. And so this is, this resolution is just to put in front of the legislature to ask them to consider. And the 89th legislature will begin in January the 1st. And last May, we went to the Republican convention, and one of the core principles of the Republican Party was to limit government's power to the U.S. and the Texas constitutions. We've had a lot of laws come around that have, in my opinion, gone outside the Constitution. And this is basically harkens back to COVID. This resolution has to do with executive orders, overreach of the state government and local governments when COVID's shutdowns were allegedly mandated, and mask wearing was mandated, and businesses' shutdowns were mandated by government from the feds all the way down to the local level. And in my opinion, at that time, our constitutional rights were trampled on. Many, many people agree with that today. And so this resolution is simply a resolution asking the state legislature to revisit State Government Code, Texas Government Code 418, and rethink that statute. I can read the resolution, or we can talk about it, or we can just put it for a vote. Has anybody signed up to speak to it?
Yes, David Ferris.
Okay, I've said my piece.
And then we have James Wall. James, yeah. We have two speakers.
Good morning. Instead of saying it from back here, I'll come up here and say my 4 or 5 words. Wasn't exactly certain what this relates to. I am totally, wholeheartedly in favor of it, so that pretty much addresses my concerns and questions. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Wall.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioners, for going ahead and giving me the opportunity to go ahead and speak on this resolution before y'all, as I'm for this resolution because this is something that seeks to go ahead and limit some of the powers on government and restore constitutional rights for both the U.S. and the Texas constitutions that are provided to us. Now, 5 years ago, I couldn't have imagined sitting here before you and talking to you about this entire resolution. But then COVID happened. And what we saw in COVID was massive overreaches across the board, whether it was shutting down businesses, whether it was closing the doors of churches, or just going ahead and affecting individual lives with all of the lockdowns. This was done, we could say local, state, federal, it was nationwide. And what did it lead to? It led to businesses being in financial ruin. It led to churches being forced to lock their doors in a time when people needed a moment to be able to find that connection in their faith. And it led to a point where we saw depression and suicide rates soar nationwide. This didn't have to happen, and it shouldn't have happened, as we have checks and balances throughout our Constitution to make sure overreaches like this don't occur. But thankfully, we have a Republican Party plank that was passed in the GOP convention in 2024 that wants to go ahead and put forward legislation to prevent this kind of thing happening again. So that's what the resolution is before you. And that resolution should be, I hope, passed unanimously, as it will go ahead and it will send a strong statement to our government in Austin that we are going to protect the rights and the liberties of the people of Texas. This is an opportunity for us to go ahead and to show Hood County is going to lead the way whenever it goes ahead in protecting life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness in this state. And this is also a moment for us to go ahead and show the bastion of freedom that Hood County represents with its people, and not tyranny. So once again, I ask y'all to go ahead and pass this resolution. Thank you, and God bless you.
Any further discussion?
have said it better than Mr. Walls. What we saw in 2020 was something that none of us would have expected. And while we feel, as Chairman Harrell said, we have a strong Republican leadership now in our state, that doesn't mean it will always be that way. And for us to ask the legislature to put these guardrails up against any future governor or legislature that may decide to do something similar to what happened in 2020, I think this is, as Commissioner Eagles said, this is part of our Republican platform, and I'm strongly in support of it.
Anybody else? Mr. Eagle, Mr. Eagle? Yes, sir. I have something to say. I think this resolution is written as a personal affront to Governor Abbott and to President Trump. They were both the executives in power that made the executive orders at that time during the COVID crisis. They made it at a time before COVID vaccine was even made. And can y'all just imagine the hundreds of attorneys, real constitutional lawyers, that looked at this problem that the governor asked, including Attorney General Paxton, before he issued that executive order, and the hundreds, maybe thousands of lawyers that President Trump had at his disposal before he made that executive order. To think that Governor Abbott or President Trump would want to shut down businesses and close churches, that is something that was a desperation because people were dying all over the place. For all of us that have been coming here in these commissioner courts during that period of time, I lost two very good friends due to COVID. One was Larry Dixon, Pastor Larry Dixon. His wife asked me to speak at his funeral. And Pastor Bill Miller. I was one of 5 people that was invited to go to his service because he didn't want a service. Very good friends of mine, and they died of COVID. So this was an insidious time where these people made the best decisions that they possibly could. And to have a resolution that says, whereas the trampling of constitutional rights should never be allowed to ever happen again amongst a free society, that's what the Constitution already says. But the Constitution does have other powers, like the right to protect the safety and liberty of its citizens. You know, Commissioner Eagle the last time says that the Constitution is written very simply in plain language for everybody to read and understand. Well, if everybody gives their interpretation of what the Constitution, state, and U.S. says and acts upon their interpretation, that's called anarchy. At the time that these resolutions were passed, and it was murmured about these are unconstitutional, we should never pass it, because we then voted on one, and it passed 4-1 with Commissioner Eagle voting against it. And we did it so that we would be entitled to receive ARP funds and other assistance from the state, and we're told that we wouldn't get it unless we did do this. Let me tell you, folks, do you think that I wanted to do that? I'm a biggest Republican as anybody that's sitting in this room, probably including Mr. Harold up there, and giving a lot of money to President Trump and to Governor Abbott. And I certainly don't want to send a message to them that I think that they trampled on our constitutional rights. Man, this was a time when nobody knew what was going on and people were dying, and we didn't know when it would stop. And I told everybody at that time, listen, if you feel so strongly about that, do what the Constitution say. File a lawsuit in the appropriate court and get a decision. And then if you don't like that decision, take it up to the appellate courts. You can take it all the way up to the U.S. Supreme Court. That's what our Constitution requires. That's why it's endured for over 200 years. But to sign something like this, after the overwhelming vote that the people in Texas and the people of the United States have given to both Governor Abbott and to President Trump, this is totally unnecessary and an insult, in my opinion, to those two gentlemen that have represented. They've lost sleep agonizing over this. You know, nobody asked Dave Eagle to come down to Austin and give his opinion on whether it was constitutional or not. They had plenty of lawyers that specialize in constitutional law that finally gave him his decision. I'm against this resolution. Any further discussion? If not, do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion, and thank you for taking the exact same position you took 4 years ago, by the way. I make a motion that Hood County Commissioners Court resolution to limit government power to U.S. and Texas Constitution as written be passed in this court.
Second.
Okay, a motion been made by Commissioner Eagle to approve resolution to limit power to U.S. and Texas constitutions. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Samuelson. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay.
Nay.
How did you? Motion passes 3-2. All right, this brings us to item number 15. Review and discuss most recent version of the Texas Commissioners Court Rules of Decorum and Conduct adopted October 24, 2023. Take any action if necessary. Ms. Samuelson.
Thank you, Judge. Last court, there was a little confusion about what the most recent version of the Rules of Decorum said, and I'm actually kind of glad it came up, because as I was looking for it during court, I realized that the one that was posted on the web was actually an older version. So now the version that's noted here, the 10/24/23, is the one that's the most current. And if you'll scroll down, the changes are highlighted in red and blue. So if you'll scroll down, please. Those are the changes that we made last October. So, I mean, it's good to bring it back up every now and then so we can remember that as time passes, we tend to forget some of the things that have taken place. So the discussion that I was having had to do with number 9, when a member of the public is recognized, they have an opportunity to speak or pass, and that was the issue that had come up last court. So that's the only reason I brought it up. I didn't know if anybody else wanted to talk about any of the other things that were changed, but just to let everyone know, the current version is now posted on the web.
We have a speaker signed up. 2 speakers. Mr. Ferris.
Hello again. Yeah, real simple. On your item number 9, when I read it, and I didn't have it before me, I tried to pull it up, but I remember pretty much per phrase it said, when a speaker comes up, he has time to speak, and then it basically ends, in my 4 minutes and 40 seconds from now. But my question was more specifically, from time to time, or a lot of times, there's not all of the information at the time, for example, I'm speaking. There are going to be experts that come up, et cetera. And in the past, not going on and droning about things, but an expert has come up, and I've raised my hand and say, I would like to make a comment, either approving or, I don't agree with that or something of that nature, something relatively simple based on something that's come up. And that has usually been granted, and it's granted to other people. And I wanted to make sure that would still be available. And maybe another sentence is, extensions allowed for brief questions after expert testimony or something of that nature. That was my only point on these rules of order. I just didn't want to get locked out of, hey, I don't agree with that expert. I would like to make my point. Okay? So.
Chief Biggers.
Just to comment on the last item, I just cannot believe, I just heard an elected official say we got to violate your rights to get the money. But anyway, so this is a continuation of coming up here at first, and my understanding is this mic was not on, so I'm going to do a little recapping about what happened 2 weeks ago, last Commissioners Court. Citizen came up here to harass Mr. Eagle, was way out of line, violated all of 4F, in my opinion. 2 commissioners tried to shut him down. He got shut down by the executive officer here. So here's the problem with this. And then the recording I played obviously didn't get out online either. And that was a recap of what 2 of the sitting people up there today that were just basically insulting my character, I guess I would say, to a former pastor. And I just needed to address that and never did get to, and spoke 23 seconds and got thrown out. So I took your advice, Judge. Obviously you know that. I did go to law. We do have a federal lawsuit, and we'll see eventually what happens with that. But here's the deal. If you got a problem, let's have a resolution to it. So I think these are your marching orders. And I appreciate Commissioner Eagle bringing up about the Constitution. The First Amendment certainly is the biggest and the boldest, in my opinion, on the 5 points it covers. So, but again, these are your marching orders on how you interact with people and how we interact with you, and it should stay that way. So here's a couple, first, I just have a couple questions, because I know we can't do that during open mic time, and you never ask a question unless you know the answer, I guess. That's what good lawyers say. We ever hear about the AG and the DA opinion, Judge? I called down there and they didn't know anything about what I was talking about. So apparently we never did get down there to them with the violating of the recording. Here's the solution. This court should assign a parliamentarian that understands these rules. Your Robert's Rules of Orders, basically. My suggestion, and I apologize, Christine, but the county clerk ought to be the parliamentarian of this court, being able to know what the rules are, how they are, and what they should be following. If there's a point of order there, then maybe be taken up with the rest of the commissioners on the thing. Another thing would be these rules before citizens' comments could be read every time so people understand that you can't come up here and throw rocks at people. You just can't. You violate this thing, you verbal rocks that you want to get after it. And the fourth thing, maybe the people here need a visual reminder of that. And I'm guilty of a few years ago when they were trying to crucify Bob Seringer in the school board. People were up there just right and left throwing verbal rocks at him, and I just brought a whole bag of rocks so they could throw them. And basically, like Jesus said, I think this county is probably predominantly, if they're 82% Republican and the Republican platform believes in a higher creator God that establishes these rights, and I'm going to say there's 82% of people who believe in a higher creator God. And with that, the words of Jesus says, there you go. Somebody pick up the first stone if you want to throw it, because we shouldn't be doing that. And yes, I'm stating facts that have happened in this court and facts that led to lawsuits and facts of violations of rights. But still, we should not be throwing stones. We deal with this business and we get it shut down if the stones happen. So maybe we can put that verse here. It's out of John 8, verse number 7. Put it right here on the podium. And I even brought a rock today that we can put out there with it. So there you go. Thanks a bunch.
Okay. I guess there's no motion. So now, item number 16, discuss and take appropriate action to allow the Hood County Sheriff to add a deputy to his 2025 Senate Bill 22 plan. This adjustment will allow a third deputy to be hired out of the Senate Bill 22 Grant Fund 106. This would be a total of 3 deputies fully funded from SB Grant 22. Sheriff Deeds.
Judge, Commissioners, when this all started, then I had a plan that I presented to the court, and I'd like to modify that plan and add, it was for 2 deputies. I'd like to add that 3rd deputy. The auditor has gone over that money, and we have enough to be able to hire that 3rd deputy, so I would sure like to do that. I am still staying with helping out my jailers, and last year, because of it came so late in the year, we did buy a lot of equipment, and I'm thankful for being able to do that. But she just posted that up, or somebody just posted that up on the screen, and so that we're spending $208,000 in the FICA and the retirement. That's all for the jailers, and then the additional deputy. The grand total on that's $188,100. And then the breakdown below that. So at the end of the year, that $500,000, then we'll still have $2,957.28 left over. So I would ask that I be able to modify that to add that 3rd deputy.
So the total there, the 188, covers all 3 deputies?
Yes.
Okay. And then should we, as we make the motion, we should say that it's contingent on further funding. These positions will continue upon further funding of grants from the state, SB 20. They might not be called SB 22 in this upcoming legislature, but whatever the follow-on grant would be, it would be contingent on.
Well, it can't be conditioned just upon it. And they vote to keep them at that time. And say that deputies are going to go away if we don't get the funding from Senate Bill 22.
I think that's actually how it was recommended when this started, that the funding for these additional SB 22, whether it's whatever department it's in, that it would be contingent on further grants.
Get that when the time comes. If it doesn't happen, I think that this, from what I read and what they say, that Senate Bill 22 is going to continue. And forth, let's cross that bridge when we come to. Let's don't put up any more hurdles in them. We need all the deputies we can up here. I don't want to, when we try to recruit somebody, I don't want them to think that if we don't get Senate Bill 22, that may be out of a job.
Well, that's
Why
actually,
do we have to do that?
That's actually how the TAC recommended that you state it. When this first came out, did y'all not read all the back and forth on the TAC listserv when this came out? This is exactly what TAC recommended. Do you remember that? Maybe I'm the only one.
I do remember that, yeah. It was, and it is, I think, Judge, I think you're right. It is, at that time, we say, yeah, we continue on with this, but for now, these positions are funded by Senate Bill 22. So.
Fine. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make the motion to allow the county sheriff to add a deputy to his 2025 SB 22 plan. This adjustment will allow a 3rd deputy to be hired out of SB 22 Grant Fund 106. This would be a total of 3 deputies funded from SB 22 and will be contingent on, over the years, continued funding out of state grants, whether SB 22 or following grants.
Second.
Okay, a motion been made by Commissioner Samuelson to allow the county sheriff to add a deputy to his 2025 Senate Bill 22 plan. This adjustment will allow a 3rd deputy to be out of the Senate Bill 22 Grant Fund 106. There will be a total of 3 deputies fully funded from Senate Bill 22 grant, and it's contingent upon the funding from the state grant. Second by Commissioner Wilson. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion carries unanimously 5-0. Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you.
Okay.
Judge, can we take a break? This one may take a while.
I second that.
And we're going to take a 10-minute break. 11:15, we are back into Commissioner's Court. And we're on item number 17, discuss and take appropriate action to move the grant writer position to the County Auditor's Department effective November the 18th, 2024. Authorize the county auditor to make associated budget alignments to facilitate the move. This move will not increase or decrease the overall budget. Okay, Commissioner Samuelson.
Judge, this came up I don't know, a few courts ago, and I think I did have some research here where I just kind of looked out across different counties and see what other counties were doing. That not every county has a grant writer, but some that do. It was about 50-50 between the Commissioner's Court, that the position reported to the Commissioner's Court or to the auditor. And for us, since we don't have, these commissioners, we don't have staff other than the department heads, it just looked to me, and because of all the financial related things that go along with once we have grants, there's a lot of responsibilities related to financial reporting for the grants. It seemed better to me that it fit more into the auditors, and I think actually our auditor mentioned that when we discussed it the last time, that there were several counties where the grant writer and the grant administration reports up through the auditor's office. So as we get further and further into the grant process, there will be additional reporting. We did get a report from the grants just it might just been yesterday or Friday. And the compliance activities will continue to increase as more and more grants are awarded, which is the goal, right? We want the grant writer to be productive and be able to apply for grants and win the grants, and then there's always the compliance reporting that goes along with that. So that's why I put it on here. I thought it made a lot of sense for it to be in the auditor's office. So that's what I have to.
Discussion, or do I hear a motion?
Judge?
I've got it.
Hold it. Oh, yes, Richard. Yes, Mr. Hafs. Here. I'm sorry. I was holding it in my hand and got carried away.
Good morning, Judge and Commissioners. I know you're anxious to get to lunch, so I'll be brief. My observation is that a lot of the grants that we've gotten and written are tied to public safety. And that means the grant writer needs to coordinate with the Sheriff's Office, the Fire Marshal's Office, and the Emergency Management Office and get data from them. The grant writer is currently under the Emergency Management and is co-located with those three offices. So to me, the optimal location for the grant writer, considering the subject of the grants, is where she is right now. And I recommend that it be kept in place. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you. All right.
So I've got something now. So when we first started talking about a grant writer, we talked about three places to park: Commissioner's Court, auditor, and or the emergency management. I wanted, my personal preference at that time, and I argued for this, was that the grant writer should be under the Commissioner's Court. We are in charge of the finances. We are in charge of the budgets, the budgeting, and the setting tax rates and the like. I think that at the time that the grant writer was put into place, we compromised to some extent because there were some who wanted it at the auditors at that time. And I think a compromise was to put it in emergency management. So at this juncture, with our auditor now being in place and situated, very comfortable with her job, very good at her job, I think the proper place is with the auditor's department, where all the funds are being watched and taken care of. So I agree with Commissioner Samuelson.
Okay, any further discussion? If not, go ahead.
Yeah, one of the big concerns is, the physical spacing to have the grant writer in the auditor's office. The auditor's office is quite small, and, adding another, position in there is going to be an issue. That's an issue, a concern I've got. There are a couple of options that, possibly, that, can be, worked out as far as where, the grant writer will be physically seated. The other item is, even if, she's moved under the auditor's department, remain seated in the area where she's at. But that's one of the 3 or 4 options that are available. So there's, right now, your spacing in the auditor's office is critical. And I'm not sure how you would have arranged that to have, that individual there. Plus, the grant writer, as Rich just stated, has to interface with, multiple departments. So she's going to be, have to be where she can go in and out or deal with the ones that she primarily has to deal with, as far as some of the grants, because most of the grants involve law enforcement, fire, and EMS. Not all of them, but there's, that's just a big part of it. But having the space, for her to physically be, is critical.
So we just talked about that a minute ago. There's a couple of options. You want to talk about those options? Or should we wait?
There's a couple spaces that we might be able to work through in the DPS office. There is one office in the back of their department that they use for short periods of time. Maybe we could move that terminal into their normal operation area and then possibly ask the extension agent that visits our office space periodically if he wouldn't mind moving there, but we would have to have the approval of, Andrea, who owns that space in the DPS, and then also Mr. Commissioner Wilson and his relationship with that ag person. So we could place some musical chairs if the court does wish to move her into the audit department, and that way she would still have the ability to close off her office and have those meetings that she needs to conduct with whomever, and then also be in close proximity to my leadership.
Okay. With that, anyone else? Do you have anything?
Well, just that job does require a lot of reporting, a lot of the accounting, and there are several places that this fit. It also, development grants and things like that come along, AgriLife grants. It's a wide net that we can cast there, but it all seems to come back to the compliance and the reporting with the auditing department. So,
With that, I'll make a motion to move the grant writer position to the County Auditor's Department effective 11/18/24 and authorize the county auditor to make associated budget alignments to facilitate the move.
Second.
Auditor's Department effective 11/18/24 and authorize the county auditor to make associated budget alignments to facilitate the above move. It will not increase or decrease the budget. Second by Commissioner Eagle. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Okay. Item number 18, discuss and take appropriate action to transfer the park property from Hood County to Hood County Development District 1. The U.S. attorneys have approved this action and without the necessity of public notice pursuant to Local Government Code Title 8. Commissioner Wilson.
Okay, this involves the property that's commonly known as the Acton Nature Center. The Acton Nature Center, the property was actually given to the county by the U.S. government. The U.S. government attorneys have approved the release of that property to Hood County Development District 1, and that will alleviate any county involvement in the proper maintenance and taking care of that property, and they will be, taken over by the development district. And at that, we don't have any speakers.
Yeah, make a motion.
Huh?
Yeah.
We don't have any speakers.
No speakers.
Okay. All right, with that, I'll make a motion that we approve the transfer of the park property from Hood County to Hood County Development District 1, given that the U.S. attorneys have approved this action without the necessity of public notice pursuant to Local Government Code Title 8.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Wilson to transfer the park property from Hood County to Hood County Development District Number 1. Second by Commissioner Eagle. All those in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, say nay. Motion carries unanimously 5-0. Item number 19, discuss and take appropriate action to authorize the county judge to sign the Christmas Parade of Lights event application approving the use of the southwest corner of the historical courthouse parking lot for the stage setup, Wednesday, November the 27th at 7 a.m. until Monday, December the 2nd at 7 a.m. Additionally, allow the use of the south side of the parking lot for food vendors on Friday, November the 29th. Barricades will be set up by midnight Thursday, November the 28th, and removed by midnight, November the 29th. No speakers on that. Well, this is what we do every year, and I move that we authorize the county judge to sign the Christmas Parade of Lights application according to those times and dates. Second by Commissioner Samuelson. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries unanimously 5-0. Item number 20, consider and take appropriate action to approve the agreement between Hood County and the City of Granbury to repair the fire training facility. Funding source to be determined by the court and county auditor. Richard, you got a speaker here, and we got Mike Stafford from the fire department. Yes, sir.
Good morning again. I'm speaking now as member of the Board of Directors of the Granbury Volunteer Fire Department to thank you. Thank you for the support of our training efforts. Just 10 days ago, we graduated 37 new firefighters from the Granbury Fire Academy, representing 10 fire departments, 6 in our county and 4 from outside of our county. And this burn house that you're giving us money to repair is critical in that training. And I hope you've all seen the dramatic and riveting video of the rescue Sunday morning. That training happened exactly as, or that rescue happened exactly as trained, and that burn house is critical in that training for how to enter a burning room and search for a victim and extract the victim. Firefighter Brian Saratelli of Granbury Volunteer Fire Department and Jonathan Hood of the North Hood County Volunteer Fire Department executed their role precisely as they were trained, and it's because of support of the County Commission that we can give them that training. Thank you for your support.
Good, thank you. Mike, you want to say something? You agree?
I agree. That's kind of, I was going to bring that up from Sunday, that's an important thing to have for the firefighters to help make them better and train them and to perform rescues like they did.
Good.
Yeah, kudos to those guys for the job that they did. They saved a 2-year-old child, in case anybody is not aware of what happened there. And, well, couldn't be more proud of the.
And from what I heard, he's back home now, so.
And not only that, it has made national news, not not local, not state, national news. There's reports all the way from Mississippi to New York State, in Colorado and California, where it's made the news in all of those areas of what those individuals were able to do to save that child's life.
You want to make a motion?
I will make a motion that we approve the agreement between Hood County and the City of Granbury to repair the fire training facility, funding source to be determined by the court and the county auditor. And my suggestion is probably Fund 55.
That's in the amount of $25,000. Correct?
$25,000 right here.
Okay.
Is the agreement.
We also have that HCAD refund that's available. Commissioner Wilson, if.
Okay, motion been made by Commissioner Wilson to approve the agreement between Hood County and the City of Granbury to repair the fire training facility. Funding source is to be out of Fund 55, not to exceed $25,000.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Andrews, being a firefighter himself. All right. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion carries unanimously, 5-0. Thank you. Okay, that brings us to the consent agenda. Does any commissioner wish to pull or question any agenda item? No? If not, do I hear a motion?
Yes,
I move that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Okay, motion been made by Commissioner Andrews to approve the consent agenda as stated, seconded by Commissioner Samuelson. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries unanimously 5-0. That brings us to road operations. Mr. Donald Lenny God, Donald Lenny, I'm going to miss you as of January, but anyway, okay.
I'll say that.
All right. Discuss and take appropriate action on accepting the following sub-roadways in Comanche Cove development onto the county road system. Number 1, Comet Trail. Number 2, Fox Court. Number 3, Hydra Court. Number 4, Unicourt. What do you say to all those four, Mr. Lenny?
Judge Massagill, Commissioners. Commissioner Samuelson had received this request from the HOA of Comanche Cove. She then asked me to go assess these 4 roadways. And I'm here to let you know that the total of it is approximately 0.3 of a mile. And all 4 of these roads do adhere to the policy of the Commissioners Court from the 2019 policy. Road Operations does recommend accepting these 4 roadways into the county road system.
Good. Any further discussion? Do I hear a motion?
That I'll make a motion to accept the following roadways into the county road system: Comet Trail from Creekview Drive to Dorado Drive, Fox Court from Ridgeview Trail to Cul-de-sac, Hydra Court from Hercules Drive to Cul-de-sac, Unicorn Court from White Oak Trail to Cul-de-sac.
Second.
Samuelson to accept the roadways of Comet Trail, Fox Court, Hydra Court, Unicorn, into the county court system, seconded by Commissioner Andrews. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries unanimously 5-0. Thank you, Mr. Lenny.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay, development, Mr. Clint Head. Number 9, set public hearings for the following replats: Canyon Creek 3, Unit 8, Canyon Creek 3, Unit 8, Block 49R. What's the date you got, sir?
December 20th.
December the 20th of 2024. Do I hear a motion?
Judge, I'll make a motion to set the public hearing for the following replats: Canyon Creek 3, Unit 8, Lot 28R, Canyon Creek 3, Unit 8, Lot 49R, for December 20th, 2024.
Second.
Properties for December the 20th, 2024, second by Commissioner Andrews. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries unanimously 5-0. Next, discuss and consider the final plat of Southwind Estates lots 1 through 4, Block 1. What do you got?
This final plat is a subdivision of 8.3 acre portion of a 78 acre tract, which is part of the W. Hickman Survey Abstract Number 216 in Hood County. The proposed plat will be dedicating 8 feet wide of, or 1/18 of an acre right-of-way along Campbell Road. The proposed plat lies in the road corridor district and will be creating 4 2-acre lots that will be served by private well and on-site sewage facilities. They will be accessing the existing Campbell Road. The comments have been all addressed. Staff recommends approval as presented.
Okay. Do I hear a motion?
That I'll make a motion to approve the final plat of Southwind Estates, Lot 1 through 4, Block 1.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Andrews to accept the final plat of Southwind Estates Lot 1 through 4, Block 1, seconded by Commissioner Samuelson. Other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries unanimously 5-0. Now, at this time, at 11:35, we're going to adjourn into a public hearing to discuss and consider the replat of Lot 24R, Canyon Creek, Unit Number 3. Yes, sir.
This property is located in the Water Quality District in Precinct 2. The replat is the combining of lots 24 and 25, creating a 0.172 of an acre lot known as Lot 24R. The proposed lots will be served by Aqua Texas Water and on-site sewage facilities. There is no infrastructure proposed to be constructed with this replat. Access existing private roads. Staff has reviewed the replat, and all comments have been addressed.
Okay, is anybody here to speak at this public hearing on the replat of Lot 24R of Canyon Creek? If not, at 11:36, we're going to adjourn back into Commissioners Court. And do I hear a motion?
Judge, I'll make a motion to approve the replat of Lot 24R, Canyon Creek, Unit 3.
Okay. Is that your second? Motion made by Commissioner Samuelson to approve the replat of Lot 24R Canyon Creek, Unit Number 3, second by Commissioner Andrews. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries unanimously 5-0. Thank you, Mr. Head. Financial, Ms. Stephanie Matlock.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We have old budget, new budget. Old budget expenses, $184,792.34. New budget, $1,611,218.44. A lot of which are the volunteer fire department subsidies and community support. My office has reviewed all of the invoices and recommends payment.
Okay. Any discussion? Do I hear a motion?
Yes, I move that we approve payment of the bills from the old budget, for FY '24 of $184,792.34, and new budget FY '25, $1,611,218.44.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Wilson to approve the old budget expenses of $184,792.34 and the new budget of $1,611,218.44, second by Commissioner Eagle. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries unanimously 5-0. You going to recommend we
No, we're not on that month.
Now we're going back to, what is it, item number 7? At this time, at 11:37, we're going to convene into executive session to discuss Acton Annex Chiropractor Building real estate lease pursuant to Government Code 551.072. Okay, it's at 11:55. We are convening back into Commissioners Court. No action was taken in executive session. So at this time, do I hear a motion?
Judge, I'll make a motion to authorize the county judge to sign the Acton Annex lease per the revisions offered by the county attorney.
A motion has been made by Commissioner Sanders to authorize the county judge to sign the lease agreement with Charlotte Robertson with the approved with amendments as authorized by the county attorney's office. Second. Aye.
Second.
Commissioner Wilson. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries unanimously. And this meeting is adjourned.